The start was much better than where it ended up, though. So A Perfect Day on Netflix, not worth it. Also, I started watching Open House on Netflix, and this movie is from 2018, and I don't even see that it has like a Facebook check-in, and I see why. It gets like a 3.3 on IMDb, and it's not very good. So don't waste your time on that either. I bailed on it halfway through it, too. I just started giving up on movies. If they suck, I'm out. I'm not wasting my time anymore.
I feel it, homie. I feel it.
And one more movie in the non-horror genre that Vic made me go to, and I'm glad I did, because I'd never seen the first one fully. I've seen a lot of it, but not all of it. Super Troopers 2. And that movie was funny as shit. I don't care what anybody says. It was stupid-ass, hot humor and everything else, which to me in this situation was funny as hell. The Canadian stuff.
Fucking hilarious, man.
Still the best part is the body getting chucked out of the fucking RV. I was dying.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
Yep.
Now Blake needs to go see it.
Yeah, Super Troopers 2, Blake. You seen the first one?
Yes. Yes, I have, but
great,
I'm partial to Club Dread.
I have seen Club Dread. It's been a while, though.
I mean, honestly, I'm more of a Beer Fest fan over Super Troopers, but I love Super Troopers as well.
Now, I actually own Beer Fest, Vic.
Beer Fest is amazing. And I'm hoping since Super Troopers 2 did so good, we finally get Beer Fest 2 or Weed Fest or whatever you want to call it.
Well, I'd rather Beer Fest, too, but that's just my type of humor. I like drunks and not potheads. That's just.
Really?
But if you want to put somebody in LSD or something, that's pretty fucking funny to me.
Yes.
Or women's hormones. That's pretty damn funny, too. But so I think that's all I've got for what I've been watching. I mean, it's been all Grime Sisters research this week. I wanted to make sure that I was up on my Grime Sister stuff, because again, I'm not familiar with this case, like, obviously anywhere near like Ray is, and I didn't know the case. Sometimes we come across something on the show like the Starved Rock murders that I didn't know before we did this show, and by God, I know it now. So I will be staying abreast of anything that Ray talks about as far as the Grime Sisters murders. And it's one of those things that I could have continued on talking about, but I feel like it's like one of those things where it's speculation at a certain point. Anyone? Bueller?
Yeah, there is speculation. I was waiting to make sure there wasn't a delay, because last time I tried to talk and then I got ran over, so I was like, I'm just going to be quiet.
Well, what have you been watching, Blake? What's your horror adventures taking you lately? To Elm Street as usual?
Well, I've been working on the book for Elm Street, as you no doubt have seen by the post and everything, and I got, it's just a lot of really big stuff happening as far as that goes. But, yeah, I've been watching some stuff. I did The Shape of Water. I watched that. I watched Let Me In, which, of course, is another vampire film, and pretty good, actually. I watched the American version, not the Thomas Alfredson Swedish version. I've seen that one, too, though. So I like
them both, and I like the American version better, but it's probably because I saw the American version first at the theater.
Yeah, that could be what that was. That could be that. But, yeah, I watched that, and then I was watching some interesting stuff on vampires and vampire mythology, and, of course, cryptozoology, Loch Ness Monster, animals that are thought to exist and shouldn't, but there's proof that there's, in certain areas that they've witnessed, strange stuff. Of course, you don't always chalk that up to being horror-related, but it is on the supernatural side of it. But I've been watching a lot of that kind of stuff, and then went back and watched Aliens, and the first one, and then watched Cameron's 86 Alien film, and then
Cameron's lost his fucking mind. Have you seen his comments lately? What a dumbass. What's his problem?
I don't know. Shit. I don't know. I didn't like Avatar, but my wife did.
No, me either. I fell asleep during it. I don't understand the hype for it. I've seen Dances with Wolves, and I watched Smurfs as a kid. I don't need anything to do with Avatar.
Well, yeah, okay. I mean, I see that, but and I can understand the point there, because I grew up with those same things, and it just felt, not that the movie was bad, because I did like Steve. Oh shit, he was in Don't Breathe. He was Don't Breathe, the blind guy, Steven. Shit. Anyway, he was in Tombstone too. He always plays an asshole. And he was in that movie, and I was like, oh wow. So I watched it because he was kind of a nutcase. But then after that, I was like, I really don't like this Avatar movie. I don't like that I'm having to sit and invest 4 fucking hours in this, and I can't feel like I relate to it on any level whatsoever. At least with American Psycho, I could feel like I could relate to the music, and I could relate to the porn, and seeing all this gratuitous fucking violence and decadence of the 1980s. I have to have something to relate to when I watch these films, and I couldn't relate to Avatar, so I was like, fuck it. So I literally didn't watch any more of it. My wife said, oh, they're making an Avatar 2. I was like, why?
Mm-hmm.
And she just looked at me. She's like, why? It's James Cameron. I said, look, nobody has a greater appreciation for James Cameron than me. He started out as a special effects man on Roger Corman's Galaxy of Terror. He went on to do The Terminator. He went on to do Alien. He went on to do Titanic and all these other great films. I have nothing against James Cameron, but I don't like Avatar. I don't think that a movie that's 4 fucking hours long is going to hold attention for anybody that doesn't feel like they can relate to it on even some small microcosm of a level. I have to have something vested in that. So I was like, I'm happy for you. You go see it. And then this conversation turned to the Meg trailer, which I have seen, and I read those books before I even knew that there was a movie coming out. I do think that it was kind of a weird casting choice to have Jason Statham play Dr. Jonas Taylor, because in the books he's this kind of sorrowful, kind of grizzled, sort of almost like a younger version of Quint, but not Jason Statham, who I think of fucking The Mechanic and Crank and Death Race and all that kind of shit. I just don't see him as shark expert. So it was just weird to see that. But I'm going to go see it with my wife, when that comes out. And then, of course, Halloween. Whenever that comes out. Just because Nick Castle, I really do appreciate Nick Castle. I don't appreciate all the bullshit I've been seeing online about people trying to spoil it. And then Carpenter came out and said, no, it hasn't even been screening, so what the fuck are you guys talking about? So that was kind of weird.
I guess we should.
Huh?
Let's take just a minute to talk about the new Halloween. We got to bitch or do whatever we can do for just 5 minutes or so. So okay, I will give him props. I like the new poster that's come out for it, just because the idea of Michael's fucking 60-something by now in the movie. If it's 40 years since the first one, the idea that the mask is aged too makes sense. Because have you seen any pictures of what the mask looks like now? I mean, the mask's age, obviously.
Yes. Yeah.
So I like the poster, but I've never liked anything else I've heard about the movie, really. I mean, I don't like the idea, other than the fact, okay, so the fact that they're ignoring the sequels means the sister storyline's good, or gone, which is a good thing, but ignoring the sequels means that there's no Halloween 2, and that's just hard pill for me to swallow,
Oh, is it retconning Halloween 2 as well?
Yeah, they're retconning all of them except for the first one. So
well, that's shitty because she was in the second one, and that was actually, the second one was very, very good.
Yeah, they're even ignoring that one. So the idea here, I think, is to, number one, get rid of the sister storyline. I guess my assumption would be, and this is an assumption and nothing more, he got shot 6 times. He falls out the window. I guess he gets picked up by cops or whatever. He ends up in the sanitarium again. 40 years later, he breaks out. I don't know if that's the case, but, I mean, logically, that's what makes sense, and that's why it won't happen.
That sounds like Halloween Resurrection to me, and also like Halloween 4.
Yeah, except the others never happened. And that irritates me. I don't like that.
Yeah, because I like Danielle Harris, and I like Jamie. I like Jamie Lloyd, and I liked Rachel, and that just to retcon that would be like retconning. It would be like taking back Dream Warriors and Dream Master and going from 2 to fucking Freddy's Dead. I would be like, what the fuck?
And Danielle Harris tried to get in on the movie. She contacted them about being in the movie, and they told her no. They said nope.
Well,
so you can see why I'm a little I don't want to go full nerd rage about the movie, but it seems to me like the movie, I don't know. I'm just a little concerned about where it's going to go.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, it was one of the few besides the Chapter 2 that I was looking forward to, because there's nothing else that's coming out that I'm aware of that I really am, gotta see, because I don't have to see a damn thing. I could just watch what I watch, and then when that shit comes out, if I hear that it's good, or if I listen to you two talk about it and you say it's good, I will give it a chance. But if you say it's shit and everybody else is ragging on it, and it's also going to retcon one of the best movies in the series, I don't think I want to go give it the time of day, because Halloween 2 was a masterpiece, in my opinion.
Well, I will say one other thing is originally I had heard that it was going to be PG-13, and that made me sick at my stomach, like when I heard that. But now they're saying it's going to be rated R. They probably got backlash whenever they said it was going to be PG-13. Because, look, it's one thing if you make a movie like Happy Death Day, PG-13, or a ghost story. I mean, because if it's a ghost story, who gives a shit? They don't need to be rated R. But you can't do a slasher that the entire series is rated R and then make it PG-13. But now...
They tried, buddy.
Yeah. Now they're saying that it's going to be rated R again. So we'll see. But I worry about the direction of this movie is all I'm saying, because it's going to be about Jamie Lee Curtis as a grandma and her granddaughter getting stalked by old-ass 60-year-old Michael Myers. Me personally, I would just be happy with them to pick up after Curse or even Resurrection. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. And as far as, the PG-13, I hadn't heard that, but, they tried that shit with Stephen Hopkins when he took on Nightmare 5. And, Stephen Hopkins went on to do Predator 2 and then Lost in Space, the movie. So, and he kind of has a very, in addition to doing 24, the television series, he kind of had a very, popular and very busy career post-Nightmare. But he originally wanted Nightmare 5 to be PG-13. And they scripted a couple of gags to be so over the top that they would be cut down. And he didn't want any gore in it. And I just thought that was a really fucking bad idea. And then I learned that eventually they went ahead and won and got their R rating, but it's because they had two sequences that were so fucking disgusting that the MPAA said, if you put these in, you're going to get an X, no matter how much you shave them down. So they got rid of those and obtained an R rating, and I still don't think he was happy with that. He really did want Nightmare 5 to be PG-13, and that would have been a bad idea.
Hey, everybody, I'm pissing in the bushes in the rain. By the way, my bushes aren't as big anymore. They've been trimmed. It's like I don't have any protection here, so everybody's just going to have to watch me piss. Oh, well.
That's beautiful. That's okay.
The bush should always be trimmed.
Look. We put on a classy show here for about an hour or so, but the very start and the very end of the shows are always like the de-evolution of human society on a podcast, something like that.
Yeah, I know, man. And again, it just I'm kind of sick of the news and where human society is taking us as far as what is happening. Tomorrow is what my wife and I have coined as Waffle House Wednesday, because we go and we have breakfast together there in the mornings. And now every time I go in that place, I'm going to think about all these dead people and a naked guy with a gun. And I just, what the fuck, man?
It's funny you bring that up, because Black Panther specifically, it came up in my mind, mainly because of the racial tensions in this country. But you remember after Dark Knight Rises, what happened, at the theater, the gunman, that fucking psychopath.
The Aurora, Colorado shooting.
Yeah, Aurora. Okay, so I had never thought about that, and it never, made me think at all until we went and saw Black Panther. And just because of everything that's going on in the country right now, just the way people feel about each other, I was nervous as shit in that theater. Now, nothing, but, I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. And, it wasn't... I didn't know who I expected to do something, whether they were black, whether they were white trash, somebody. I was scared something was going to happen, but it did, and the movie was good. So there's that. And I'm going to see Infinity War in 2 days, and I'm excited about that. So anyway, I know what you mean, man. There's certain little scenarios that'll always ring in my head because of shit that's happened before, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I just,